Okay, welcome to the Master of Crypto class. This is a class where we lay the foundations for a successful cryptocurrency journey. We take the beginner and make the person a master at the end of this training. So, at the end of this training, you understand why crypto came into being, the need for crypto in our generation, the future of money, and how you as an individual can position yourself for the greatest financial revolution in all of human history, in all of modern human history. So, having said that, we cannot talk about cryptocurrency without first understanding exactly what money is. Because money is crypto and crypto is money. But what then is money? In our day to day, not everyone has a good understanding of what money truly is. So we'll lay that foundation by discussing what money is. The first few classes at Master of Crypto will be theoretical. Why? Because we're trying to lay the foundation. So the first three classes will be a lot of theory. Uh, I'll give you these materials to review later. Okay, so at the end of this class, you should be able to understand what money is, the function of money, um distinguish between the different kinds of money, the properties of money, and know what the properties of money uh, are. So, what is money? Like I said, to understand crypto, you have to first of all understand what money is. And money is any item or verifiable record that is generally accepted as a payment for goods and services and the payment of debts, such as taxes, in a particular country or a socio-economic context. The main functions of money are distinguished as the medium of exchange, a unit of account, a store of value, and sometimes a standard of deferred payment. So any item of verifiable record that fulfills this function can be considered to be money. Based on this definition of money, when we go back through history, we can see that money has changed forms over the years, from moving from the barter system, moving to commodity based money, moving to paper based money, and right now moving to the digital based money. Money has changed forms, but the core functions of money have remained the same. Okay, so this next slide says that money historically is an emergent market phenomenon establishing a commodity money, but nearly all contemporary money systems are based on fiat money. So today, even though we're coming from an history that we'll soon look at shortly, where we had the barter system, uh, all forms of money that have existed in the past, today the money that we have is fiat money, which is money issued by government. That is the money that is recognized by governments around the world. And as we'll get to know later, money is a form of control, is a tool that ensures there's order within geographical boundaries and even across the world. Now, fiat money, like any check or note or debt of or note of debt, is without use value as a physical commodity. What he's saying is that if you take your 1,000 naira note, for example, the note is just a paper. So the paper of itself of on its own actually has no value compared to the 1,000 naira that's written on it. But that money has value now because government has said this is valuable, and you can use it as a legal tender within the boundaries of this country. If it's a money like a paper money like naira, if it's if you're looking at the United States dollar now, it can be exchanged all across the world. Why? Because it happens to be the world reserve currency rather. Now let's go on. And because we have money issued by government, there are also chances that we could have counterfeit money where some rogue people create their own fake money to try and take advantage of the system. Now, let's look properly into the functions of money. Money has four basic functions. The first one is money serves as a medium of exchange. The exchange of goods and services in the market is amongst the most universal activities of human life. Okay, so now without money, imagine how, without fiat money that the government gives, imagine how difficult it would be to transact business or to exchange goods and services with one another. It would be very hard. Compare it to the barter system of years ago, where if I had tubers of yam and I needed fish, I had to carry my tubers of yam around looking for someone that had fish, not just fish, maybe the kind of fish that I needed at the time, and it made it very hard. Why? Because it's difficult carrying tubers of yam around. Fish is a perishable commodity. So it made it hard for people to exchange things and get value easily. But now with the introduction of fiat money, it's now very easy. If you want anything, so long as you have cash within that area, uh, okay. Someone said they can't hear me. If you can't hear me also, please let me know. But I think just leave the call and rejoin if you can't hear me. It seems you're the only one. Okay. Now, this last point says that a barter system exists when goods are exchanged directly for other goods. You know, because no one item serves as a medium of exchange in a barter economy. I explained that earlier. Okay, so that settles money as a medium of exchange. So for anything to be considered as money, it must be able to be used as a medium of exchange, meaning everybody around should be willing to collect that thing in exchange for whatever service or goods that they are letting go. If that happens, then that thing is serving one of the basic functions of money. Now, the next thing is money serves as a standard of deferred payment, meaning it is an accepted commodity if you want to settle debt. So it says is an accepted way to settle debt, a unit in which debts are denominated, and the status of money as legal tender in those jurisdictions which have this concept. Okay, what he's saying in essence is that, for example, in Nigeria, for example, if I owe you in Naira, uh, I have to pay you in Naira. That is what is acceptable here. If I owe you in Naira and decide that I don't have Naira, so I'm going to give you anything I have. So I go and give you Zimbabwean dollars. And everyone knows that the Zimbabwean dollars are not worth much. So within this jurisdiction called Nigeria, using Zimbabwean dollars doesn't serve as a unit of account or a standard of deferred payment within Nigeria. So what serves as a legal tender is the naira. So you cannot pay me with Zimbabwean dollars. So in that regard, even though the Zimbabwean dollars is money, so to speak, it is not a valid form of money within Nigeria. So I can decide that even though you owe me, I won't accept if you're paying me with Zimbabwean dollars. Why? It is not illegal tender within this jurisdiction called Nigeria. So that's just a simple explanation. Okay, money also serves as a measure of value. Okay, it says, how does it measure value? A unit of account in economics is a standard of numerical monetary unit of measurement of the market of the market sorry, okay, sorry, I missed my line. Numerical monthly unit of measurement of the value of goods, services, and other transactions, also known as a measure of standard of relative worth and deferred payment of unit of account necessary and prerequisite for the formulation of commercial agreement that involves debt. I dealt a little about this in the previous slide. Now, how do you, if I have tubers of yam and I want an iPhone, for example, I know the tubers of yam are worth something, but how do I measure the value of those tubers of yam? Can I exchange, are they worth so much that I can exchange the tubers of yam that I have with the iPhone that I want? So the person selling the iPhone, would the person be willing to give me his or her iPhone for sale in exchange for the tubers of yam that I have? So it now becomes difficult quantifying those tubers of yam. But if it's something that is accepted as money, the person can say, oh, yes, these tubers of yam are actually worth this iPhone. You know, Let me use another example. I have diamonds, and the person who is selling the iPhone knows about diamonds. So the person can say, okay, this iPhone that I'm selling is actually what this tubers of is actually what these diamonds that this person is giving in exchange. Why? The relative measure of value is the same based on the person's assessment. Now let's look at the final function of money, which is also one of the most important ones, as we'll get to know later on, and Bitcoin and crypto serve this function. Now, money as a store of value, SOV. To act as a store of value, money must be able to be reliably saved, stored, and retrieved, and can be practically usable as a medium of exchange when it is retrieved. The value of money must also remain stable over time. Now, let's take, for example, it is said that the United States dollar, since its creation about over 100 years ago, has lost about 90% of its value. Why? Due to inflation. So it means that what $1 could buy in, let's say, 1886, that same dollar cannot buy that thing today. Why? Money is losing value due to inflation. Another good example, in 19 is it 1973 or 1953, an ounce of gold was, I'm not so sure, but an ounce of gold was just about, okay, I know about silver. Silver was just about $3, in I think 1970 or so. But today, how much is silver worth? In the hundreds of dollars. Why? The value of silver over time has remained, but the value of the dollar keeps depreciating. Let me use a common example here in Nigeria. Like my dad said, the first house um, he built it with as low as 5,000 naira. Imagine building a whole house for 5,000 naira. But that was many decades ago. Why? Because at that time, 1 naira was as valuable as £2, two Great British pounds. Meaning, if you put 1 naira, you get £2. But today, uh, £1 is worth close to, is it $600 or more? 600 naira rather, or more, or $800. I've not been checking. But the point is this: the naira has been losing value more than the other currencies of the world. So even though the bigger currencies of the world, so like the dollar, has been losing a lot of its value, the naira has been losing value more. So if you now compare both, the naira is a worse store of value compared to the dollar. And yet, when you compare the dollar to something else like gold, Gold is currently trading around over maybe $1,700, but in 1950 something, gold was just about maybe $30 or $3, about $30 in 1953, just about $3. So what happened? The value of gold has not necessarily increased. It has just been able to maintain its store of value more than the dollar. Now, those are the four basic functions of money. And any commodity that can serve this function can be termed money. Now, the question we'll ask as we go along is, does Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies meet these functions? We'll get to answer that question in our next class. Now, we've talked about the functions of money. Now, we're going to look at the properties of money. Now, for money to fulfill its various functions, it needs to have certain properties. And the first property that money must have is what is called fungibility. Fungibility means uh, the ability of that money to have several units that can be interchanged. For example, you have 1,000 naira, for example. 1,000 naira can be broken down into five 200 naira notes or 10 100 naira notes. They add up to give you a thousand naira. Or you can even do 20 50 naira notes, or you could do one 500 naira note and three 300 naira notes and one 200 naira note. So that is fungibility. In this regard, gold, even though gold is a good store of value, it is not easily fungible. Meaning, even though gold is money, you cannot easily divide gold that easily. But you can do that with paper money, and you can do that with other monies like crypto. Then the next thing is durability. And durability means the ability of that thing that is serving as money to withstand repeated use. Sometimes some of our notes, you can't say they are durable because after some years, they have to change them and retrieve the old damaged note and put new notes into circulation. So in terms of durability, the paper money has issues, but gold is highly durable because no matter what you do to gold, it's still gold. You just wash it up and it's still gold. Then divisibility, you can say it's similar to fungibility, but it's slightly different. But money should be able to you should be able to divide money easily. Then the next point is portability. Money should be portable. For example, gold is not really portable. If I'm to transport one ton of gold, it is almost practically impossible to transfer value in gold of that much. So even though gold is a good form of money, good store of value, it's not really portable. But then your paper money is portable. Then also it depends on the paper money you're looking at. If you're looking at paper money like the Zimbabwean dollars, for example, it's hard for you to call it portable because to even buy a loaf of bread, you need millions and millions of Zimbabwean dollars to buy a loaf of bread. So what if I want to now pay you a quadrillion dollars? How do I carry those kind of quadrillion dollars in Zimbabwean notes? How do I carry all that money? So some monies, some of those notes are not really portable. I'm giving you all these characteristics, and at the end, we'll compare these characteristics with Bitcoin and crypto. The next point is okay, someone said chatter privately. The next point is cognizability, meaning the ability for you to recognize it easily when you see it. Like if I see $100 bill, I can this is $100 bill. If I see 100 naira note, I can tell this is 100 naira note. So if you bring a form of money that people are wondering, oh, which one is this? Then is not serving the function of money. Then the next one is scarcity. Money should be scarce. Anything that has value should be scarce. So if money is too abundantly available to everyone, then it means that value has lost a lot of its money. And a good example is in Venezuela, I think sometimes last year or 2 years ago, uh, they had some crisis with their president, with the economy, and the Bolivian dollars was almost useless. It was so useless that people were using the notes to make fire during winter or during their cold season just to stay warm. So instead of using firewood or coal, they were using notes, Zimbabwe notes to cause fire. Why? The money was not scarce. It has become too available, it lost its value, but good money should be scarce. Now, those are the properties of money. Now, the next one is types of money. There are different types of money, and they have changed form all over many years. Commodity money is the first one, and it says many items have been used as commodity money, and the items are naturally scarce, like precious metals, corn shells, barley, beads, gold. Gold is a commodity. You know, it has served as commodity money. Then the next one is representative money. Representative money consists of tokens, coins, paper money, other physical tokens such as certificates, you know, gold, silver. Now, the word representative money is used because the items being used as a representation, sometimes they necessarily don't have to be what they are representing. For example, your paper money, for example, the example I gave you, like 1,000 naira note, is not necessarily worth up to 1,000 naira if you are to sell that paper itself. But then it's worth 1,000 naira. Why? Because the government has said it is worth this much. You know, then you have gold serving as representative money. Gold in this case might be worth much, might be worth exactly what it is representing. Then silver, at different generations, at different times, some of these monies have been used. Some of these things have been used to represent money. Okay, then I spoke about paper money. Then currently we're used to digital or electronic money. Now, digital electronic money became a big thing, during the dot-com boom or the internet revolution that we had in the early 2000s, where the computer had gone mainstream, the internet had made access to information, sharing of information, and even made communication a lot easier. So we had digital money go mainstream. People could now carry monies on their phone. Today now, a lot of people don't even buy things with physical cash anymore. You can literally order anything from a store and pay from your card, from your credit card. That's electronic money. Now, Bitcoin is a form of internet money. Why? Bitcoin has all these functions. Sorry, Bitcoin serves all those functions that we highlighted before. Bitcoin serves as, okay, I'm trying to go back. Bitcoin can be used as a medium of exchange. Why? Because I can say, okay, some people attended this class and paid in Bitcoin. Why? It's a medium of exchange to me. It has value to me, so I can take it. Why? Because if I take it, I can easily exchange it to any other form of money that I want at any time. So it serves the function of a medium of exchange. Then it serves also as a standard of deferred payment. Oh, someone is owing me. I don't have money to pay you, but I can pay you in Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin is fine. Pay me in Bitcoin. I can easily convert it into naira or dollar at any time I want. So it can serve as a standard of deferred payment. Then, is it a good measure of value? Yes. This training is worth 40,000 naira. So someone can say, okay, I'll pay you in Bitcoin. Bitcoin worth 40,000 naira will be about $80 worth of Bitcoin. So I accept it. Oh, why? It's easy for me to measure the value of the Bitcoin you're sending to me vis-a-vis the service I'm rendering to you. Then the next thing is store of value. In fact, this is where Bitcoin exceeds every other currency that has existed before and that is existing now, in the sense that Bitcoin has only been in existence for about 10 years, but in that 10 years, it had maintained its store of value. In fact, it has beating inflation more than any other asset in history. As far back as 2009, 2010, Bitcoin was trading for maybe pennies or about $1. But today it's trading at how much? Over $30,000. So it's a good store of value. Why? If you invested $1 today, it is worth much more. So it has retained the value of your $1. Then it also has Bitcoin also has all the properties of money. It's fungible, meaning Bitcoin has different units called satoshis that you can easily exchange, you know, easily. Bitcoin is durable in the sense that it's not physical. It's just codes of computer codes in a computer network. So it cannot. It's highly durable. It cannot perish. You don't have to uh, uh, like do what they do to notes, where when they get damaged, you retrieve, you take them back, and the bank issues new ones to the public. Then Bitcoin is highly portable. In fact, this guy, is it Hush Puppy? Uh, a lot of you should still remember when he was arrested. They said they found over, I think, $35 million of Bitcoin in a wallet that he had on his phone. Hush Puppy, is that a Hush Puppy or his colleague that they were arrested with? Meaning they were carrying $35 million in their phone, in their pockets. Tell me anything that is as portable as that. You can't do that with gold. You can't do that with physical cash. Even if you are to create $1,000 bills, it's not easy to carry about. Then the next thing is Bitcoin is easy for you to recognize Bitcoin. Once it is sent to you, with your right wallet address, you can easily recognize, oh, this Bitcoin has entered my wallet, and it's easy for you to track it. Now, now Bitcoin is the true money of the internet. Why? We'll look at that later. But before we go on, let's look at there's a difference between currency and money. And A lot of people might not know this. Why? Because these terms are interchangeably used. So sometimes Bitcoin or some of the monies we use could serve as currency, and sometimes they could serve as money. They are interchangeable. Now let's look at the differences. Currency refers to a promissory note or a coin that is presented, that is presented in the form of money. Sorry, this is a mistake here. It's actually presented in the form of money. Is a promissory note presented in the form of money. Okay, yeah. Now this clarifies it. Currency is a medium through which money becomes alive. Like we said earlier, money is a concept. Money itself does not really exist. It is just a concept used to measure value, and that concept can change from what is used to measure value can change from time to time. Like I said, from different generations to generations. Now we're using Bitcoin, we're using digital money, but believe you me, in the next 50, or less, in the next 100 years, maybe a new form of money would have evolved. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure a new form of money would have been created. Why? Because humanity is constantly advancing. Now, money is often categorized under good money and bad money. Good money is considered to be gold, silver, Bitcoin, even landed property can be classified as money. And bad money is considered to be currency. Now, why this classification? Bad money as currency doesn't retain its value. Like I said, everyone here knows that 200,000, 100,000 naira from 2016. It's not the same 100,000 naira of 2021. Why? It's money is naira is losing value every day. In fact, not even go far. As at January, March of last year, yeah, March of last year, $1 was at about 360 naira. Today, $1 is around 500 naira in the black market. So it means that naira has lost over 30% of its value just within the space of a year. Do you understand? So it's bad money. Why? Because good money should keep its value. But gold has not lost its property, its value since the inception of gold. Why? It is true money. Land is true money. So, sorry, I'm a Christian, so let me use this example. So, when God in the Bible talks about money, He doesn't mention currency. He talks about the silver and the gold, the cattle upon 1,000 hills. He's making reference to good money that can retain their value. Okay. Now, we'll look a little into foreign monetary policy. Now that we've looked at money, we need to look into monetary policy, because that's what keeps different economies going. You know, that's what maybe keeps other economics in check, so that they don't become bad actors in the world. So let's look at. I wanted to skip this before, but let's look at it. Now, the value of a certain currency when compared to international currencies, which is normally known as the exchange rate, like the example I just gave, comparing the naira to the United States dollar. So when you do that, it tells us about the foreign policies and how sound the monetary policy of that country is. Do you understand? So if the naira keeps losing value, what does it tell you? That the Nigerian economy or the Nigerian central bank has failed or failing monetary policies. The economy is in a bad shape. That's why the value of that country, of that country's money keeps going down. For economies that are very strong, even though we know long term that the value of the currency to loses, their currency to loses value, but it doesn't lose value as fast as when you compare it to other economies with bad monetary policies. Okay, now let's look at, on the other hand, the money supply in a particular country tells us about the economic and fiscal policies of the country, and can also be looked at like an economic indicator. I just explained that now. Economically, Nigeria is not doing well at all. Now, there are different kinds of monetary policies. Let me just run over this. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. Now, the way the economy of the world, the monetary system of the world works, is operate on a model of banking called fractional reserve banking, or what you can also call the debt-based banking, meaning the money that exists actually exists just in numbers, and the government can decide to add more money, print more money, when you have debasement and devaluation, or somehow try to reduce the money circulating within the economy by coming up with policies that maybe make people spend more, depending on what they want to achieve in that economy. So when you have people managing an economy and they don't actually know where they are driving the economy to, like we have in Nigeria, for example, then you now have a lot of failed monetary policies. Now, when we're talking about world finance, the financial system of the world, we always make reference to United States and sometimes Europe. Why? Because the United States dollar is the world reserve economy. The United States economy is the world reserve currency rather. The United States economy is the largest economy in the world. So anything that affects the United States, their economy and their money affects the whole world. No country is shielded from that. Affects the whole world in a way. You understand? So we always look at the monetary policies, the fiscal policies that are happening within the United States, and see what ripple effect that will have in other economies. Now, a good example, okay, we'll go into this example later. So, for the sake of this class, for the sake of this training, I'll be making more reference to the United States economy more than the Nigerian economy. Why? Because you cannot use the Nigerian economy as a standard for anything good, really. So, even though the United States economy isn't perfect, why? Because nothing designed by humans is perfect. There will always be loopholes. uh, Many of the people designing those things are actually just trying to see what will work. It's not like they've done it before in another life. So they're just trying based on the theories that they have in their head. So sometimes some of these policies fail. And whenever they fail, there could be uh, catastrophic events. Now, one of such failed policies resulted has okay, so some of these monetary policies that these different like the United States have done over time has led to some bad things happening over time. Now, we could start from the Bretton Woods Agreement in 1970. The president of the US at the time was Richard Nixon. So a lot of people say he's the one that started most of the monetary problems that we have in the world. Why? Because before now, the United States dollar used to be backed by gold, meaning for every $1 you had, there was a corresponding amount of gold that was backing every $1. So the government couldn't just print money anyhow, because for every money they printed, they had to account for it in gold that is physically sitting somewhere in the vault. But then the war in Vietnam came about, and the government needed so much money to keep fighting the war, sending money to the troops, and the economy couldn't just create enough money to pay for all those bills. So the president was like, "Oh, what can we do now? We will now have to start creating money and telling the people that, okay, this money is worth this, even though it is not worth anything." So the dollar that you see today is not backed by any gold. So that's when fiat money started. Fiat money means faith in the government. You trust the government. Why? The government said this thing is valued, then it's valuable. Unlike before, when every dollar was backed by gold. So, what happened? It means that the Federal Reserve, which is the central bank of the United States, can print as much dollars as they want to serve any purpose that they want. Now, printing money may seem easy, but it comes with a lot of consequences, sometimes good, sometimes bad, but long term, the bad consequences are much more than the good. So when President Nixon printed whole lot of money, then it helped the economy, it boosted the economy. The war in Vietnam was fought. We're not sure who won, because every side claims the won. Vietnamese claim the won, United States claim the won. So uh, so the bad consequences was that now you now have an economy overflowing with money and diluting the existing supply of money. So, for example, if I have 1 million naira, if I have $1 million, and the government suddenly prints additional, let's say, $6 trillion and pours it into the economy, then what happens to my $1 million? I have lost value. My $1 million has lost the value that it had before. Why? Because if you did economics, there's something about supply and demand. Whenever there's excess supply, the value of that thing that is being supplied goes down. The forces just have to balance each other. So what happens? The prices of goods and services has to rise to level up at a level of equilibrium with the excess money that has come into the market. So there are many failed policies, but the one that led to the creation of Bitcoin was a failed policy that happened in 2018 that brought about the global economic crash. Now, it was a big thing at that time. You know, we didn't feel it so much here in Nigeria, but in United States and in Europe, it was a disaster for a whole lot of people. A lot of people lost their jobs, people lost their houses. Now, let's look at what that crisis was. Hello, guys. Okay, I think I should stop here. This is already 9:49.